Hello everyone, I'm here today and I am going to talk about DC Dual Force. This is a game I am super excited for, as I hope many of you are. I'm going to be covering it all on this channel, all the news possible. Today I'm going to be going everything we know so far about DC Dual Force. So if you are interested in this game at all, please leave a like on this video, subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be covering it all here and you're not going to want to miss anything that I have to show you. So let's just get right into it. What is DC Dual Force? So what we know so far, well, I'm skipping ahead. DC Dual Force is going to be a digital collectible card game developed by Cryptozoic. So Cryptozoic has experience making physical, like tabletop card games, also under the DC IP. But this is their first time doing a digital one. I think they're taking from they're not taking from the success of Marvel Snap, because this has been in the works for a minute now, DC Dual Force, but we recently got a trailer a few months back, and just a month ago they updated their website and said there would be a beta dropping soon. So yeah, but it's gonna have a lot of different cards from all across the DC universe. There's rumored to be over 600 different cards, which already trumps Marvel Snap on how many, just the sheer variety. And there's going to be 3 different card types. So what I'm going to be showing you guys here is trying to get a grasp of how this game is actually going to work gameplay-wise. So as we can see the 3 different card types here in this example I have. In the middle we have Batman and Superman to his right. So these are 2 examples of the leader cards. Leaders are going to be the first card you really pick when you're building your deck, and you pick 2 of them for your deck. So they're really marketing this game around these interesting combos of leaders and, you know, having 2 kind of main win conditions. It's kind of like Hearthstone, where you have like a champion person, but like I'm not super familiar with Hearthstone, so forgive me if I'm saying the wrong terms, but it's basically if you had like 2 of those with 2 separate abilities that you could combo together. But then you also have recruit cards like Dr. Fate over here, which we'll get into more later on, and then also finally action cards like To the Batcave here and Thin the Herd. So yeah, and there's just a lot to talk about there. So, but first let's just talk about leaders. So who are our leaders? These are going to be our staples in the DC universe. So I already talked about Batman. Superman's here, we get to see. These are more recent teasers that have been shown, so these are probably more accurate interpretations of what the abilities will actually be. Here, and with Superman, you can see there's +3 and Hunter this turn. We don't really know what +3 of this yellow is and what Hunter is yet, but this is also just an older image, whereas this more recent one of Superman, we have get +7 of this red thing, and invincible this turn, and it's for 3. So this is important, these numbers here, 3. Notice on this leader over here, Lex Luthor, he has a 4. So I believe these are going to be like costs for their abilities. So Superman is only going to have a 3 cost ability to use this, because you're only going to use this for 1 turn, right? He gets invincible this turn. So it happens, you use it, and then that's that, right? But it's going to cost you 3 of whatever. We don't quite know yet. But Lex Luthor is going to cost him 4 to do it. Additionally, we can see a defense stat under these. This is kind of, again, similar to Hearthstone. I know there's like a total life stat of your main hero, champion kind of person. And if that goes down, you lose. So again, similar to that, but again, in these you're going to have 2. So maybe you're combining Superman and Lex Luthor, a bit of an unorthodox combo, but you could do it nonetheless. Another example they showed us more recently is The Flash and Harley Quinn. So Here, notice that the Flash has an ability for 2. So the Flash, he's going to be having much cheaper abilities to use than compared to Superman and Lex Luthor, it seems like. And also Harley Quinn has a 2 under her. But she also has End and Adrenaline, draw a card. So what does End and Adrenaline mean? I'm thinking this is some kind of, similar to Marvel Snap, like an ongoing ability. Where it's like every turn this proc, so maybe she's just drawing you extra cards every turn, which is kind of insane, not gonna lie. We can't see her stat, but these are weaker defenses compared to Superman, who isn't drawing turns isn't drawing a card every turn, but has higher defenses, right? Because I don't imagine Harley Quinn is going to have a higher defense stat than Superman. But yeah, other cards we have seen have been Batgirl. They've shown a teaser of her very recently. Says she's going to get +3, whatever this turn. And also she's going to activate the deploy ability of a friendly recruit. So notice how the deploy is highlighted. So this is a key word here. It's going to be important with, I think it's going to be similar to on reveal abilities if you're familiar with Marvel Snap. It's when the card is played, that's when the ability happens, and it only happens once. But what Batgirl will be able to do for 3 cost, mind you, is activate that deploy ability a second time. So that sounds pretty good. That kind of thing is like an Odin in Marvel Snap. That's pretty strong. We also had Wonder Woman shown. She's more simple. Wonder Woman and your recruits get +1 and +1 for 2 cost. So a more basic, probably stats-driven, consistent hero with a good health stat. But yeah. So those are just some examples of the leaders that you will be seeing, and others that have been teased have been like Joker. We have Aquaman, who's been teased, Cyborg, and we're surely going to see many, many more leaders. With over 600 cards, I mean, of course, there are going to be more. But next up, I'm going to talk about the action cards. So something very interesting to note about these, and why I wanted to talk about them first, is because I have this image where you can see these action cards don't have any stats at the bottom of them. They only maybe apply stats or have some kind of effect that will help you out. But most interesting to me is up on the top left of each of these cards. There's some kind of rarity, or what I believe to be the cost of each of these cards. So we have a bronze card, a silver card, and notice how this bronze only has 1 notch in this kind of pattern, and then the silver one has 2 notches in this kind of pattern, and the gold card over here is filled out with 3 notches. So I think this is going to be, again, the kind of 1, 2, 3 cost that we were seeing with the heroes, with how Harley Quinn has 2, Flash has a 2. I think it's going to be similar, like maybe your mana or energy, and that's how you are able to play these cards out. And you're either able to choose, do I want to use my hero's ability or my leader's ability, or do I want to use one of these action abilities, like to the Batcave for 3 cost is really good. Draw an additional card each turn for the rest of the game. That with Harley Quinn, if you're drawing a card always, that's the consistency in that deck would be insane. You'd probably always be drawing the cards you wanted, right? So already you can see with just these very limited options, we can cook. And guys, there's going to be over 600 cards. So the variability in this game with 40 card decks, it's going to be insane. So yeah, let's just show you some more cards. We have Batman. This is an older image again, so don't think these abilities are final at all. Don't think any of these abilities are final until we've actually seen gameplay. But again, we see the 1 and 2 kind of cost here. So Batman's going to be a lot cheaper, it looks like. Or, again, I don't know why I'm saying he's going to be cheaper when these abilities aren't even real. But again, we see these 1 and 2 costs here. And then again, we get a closer look at the recruit cards this time instead of actions. So recruits, I think they're going to be played in front of your leaders to kind of protect them from taking damage. The reason I believe this is because look at Gorilla Grodd here. When an enemy blocking Gorilla Grodd is KO'd, draw a card. So the way I interpret that is, say you have a leader, right? And Gorilla Grodd wants to attack that. Maybe say Gorilla Grodd's attack stat is a 7 and his cost is a 2, right? He has this silver thing like we were talking about with the actions. Well, say he has that 7 attack stat, he wants to put that onto the enemy Batman. Well, if there's another recruit in the way, like a Dr. Fate, that enemy would be blocking the Batman. And, maybe that's how you play things out. Maybe that's how you prevent your heroes from taking damage. Is first to hit the heroes, you have to go through the recruits, right? And they can be blocking the heroes in that kind of way. So, yeah, just very interesting. And again, we see the cost. This is why I think these are going to be some kind of cost-related icons. It's because we see it on both the recruits and the minions. Minions. Minions and recruits are kind of a word that's used interchangeably in this so far from what we've seen, but I think the final word is going to be recruits, or the more recent terminology has been recruits, so I'm going to try to stick with that. But yeah, another thing we can notice on these cards is little icons in the center. So Dr. Fate has gold kind of thing, Gorilla Grodd has a blue, Batcave has purple, this Thin the Herd also has a blue. Super Strength has kind of a silver. So I think these might be card rarities, like outside of the actual gameplay in the collection aspect. Different cards are going to have different rarities. You'll notice the heroes don't have rarities because I think they're going to be more easily accessible. And yeah. But yeah, or these could be the rarities of like the different, maybe we're going to have kind of variants like in Marvel Snap where you're going to have different versions of the cards, and these are how rare that version of the card is. So yeah. But moving on, we have more looks at heroes. These are just, yeah, as we can confirm, Harley Quinn has a lower attack stat, or lower defense at 16 compared to Superman, who here is 19, but as I showed you earlier, he was like 22. Yeah, so obviously these stats are changing, but we also see Punchline here, another recruit character, or recruit card, and interesting enough, Punchline has lethal if you control Joker, so she's going to have obvious synergy with the Joker leader, but we haven't actually seen what Joker does or anything yet. But yeah, just another cheap one-cost recruit, maybe, if this has anything to do with cost, which is my guess, that is going to have good synergy with the Joker. And yeah, it has obviously appropriate, seemingly low stats for the one cost. Like if you compare it to Dr. Fate, he has really high stats. He's a 3 cost. Gorilla Grodd's are a bit lower, but he's a 2 cost, you see. So, yeah. So, stats seem to be making sense. Let's see what else we got. So, yeah. Another thing we have seen, and we will know is going to be coming to the game, is these hero missions, story missions. They're going to be like comic adventures where it's basically going to be a weekly release kind of thing, which they plan to keep updated as long as the game goes on, hopefully. We'll see. Things can always change with companies, but I have high hopes for how they're going to do this. I don't think, it's just extra side content. Marvel Snap, I think it kind of suffers from there only being like one mode you can play and it's ranked. But this is going to be great for DC Dual Force for the people that don't want to just play against other people all the time. Sometimes they want to mix it up or do like a little kind of challenge scenario. Like this seems like a kind of challenge scenario mission. Like if we read the bottom here, we have 2 kind of abilities which I think only apply to this mission. When Batman KOs an Arkham inmate, create a gadget card and put it into your hand. And then, last laugh, at the start of your turn, shuffle 3 Joker's Toxins in your deck. When you play a gadget card, remove a Joker Toxin. So I think the Joker Toxin are kind of going to be like bad cards, like cards you don't want to draw, but you get rid of them by using the gadgets in KOing Arkham inmates with the utility belt, right? So it's going to be kind of that like puzzle scenario situation, which I think is really cool in these kind of strategy card games. It's just more content, which I think is going to be great, and hopefully it's going to give you good in-game rewards. And I'm really hoping the free-to-play progression is good on this. I don't want it to be a pay-to-win game at all, but we're just going to have to see what it looks like when we get closer to the release. But yeah, speaking of getting closer to the release, if you guys want to get more news on DC Dual Force, go to dcdualforce.com right now and put your name and email into their website. This will sign you up for emails and letters, and hopefully you might get a chance to get into the beta. They haven't said much about the beta. We can only see here, get ready to discover your personal dynamic duo in the DC Dual Force digital card game. We're just weeks away from a deep website to explore in your first day to play. So they've also said they're not only weeks away from a beta, but weeks away from the full release of the game. So yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome. And this was like a month ago that they updated this. So really it should be coming up soon in the month of June. I expect we're going to be getting some big DC Dual Force news and possibly getting a look at gameplay. So if you guys want to see that, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and yeah, just hit that bell icon so you know when my video goes up, when any news gets put out, so you don't miss it. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see y'all another time. Peace out.